let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. It is Friday. The markets are pumping and surging yet again. It looks like that bull run is really coming into full effect. We haven't really experienced the altcoin season yet, but we're getting really, really close to having one of those crazy blow up moments. You've got a lot of different things that are starting to break out just a little bit here, just a little bit there, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to a full-on breakout. And by the way, here's what the data says. Altcoin season is currently at 35 right now with an enormous spike. Now, what is that enormous spike? Well, it's exactly where I told you it has to be in order for us to have that breakout, and that is Ethereum. Ethereum has had what really would equate to a monster pump over the last 2 days. So far, Ethereum almost hits 2,500 a few short hours ago, capping out at 2,489. So not only did we get the break, not only did we get our full take profit, not only did we make a good deal here, not only did all of the stuff that we were hoping for to happen, but it then broke out and went absolutely nuts up to our second line, to our 382 from our pivot. Our pivot was up here. Our full move came down here. And where do I always tell you? I tell you that 0.5 is going to be the number. And I told you before, 2734 is going to be the ultimate target. But what I was nervous about that 236. That was my profit margin. We caught the bottom. We got the bottom of this. We got a good move. We made a nice bag off of it. And now we're just waiting for another trade opportunity to arise. There's going to have to be a correction in this market before we get that next leg up. In fact, we've got what I think is the blueprint right now. And remember what we talked about. I told you guys that I thought that the way that it was laying out right now, that we were in this little spot right here for an ultimate sort of surge right here. That surge ended up being way bigger than we thought, and we still have a long way to go on global liquidity. So we are just at the start of what will be or could be one of the biggest rallies in crypto history. And Arthur Hayes now talking about $1 million Bitcoin by 2028. If you want $1 million Bitcoin 3 years from now, then let me know in the comment section. So let's kick it off. Let's figure out what's going on. First up, tariffs. Tariffs are... So it turns out yesterday's gigantic deal that Donald Trump, and by the way, remember yesterday we were talking about it. We said that there was going to be this big announcement that, according to MAGA, Trump just saved the world. According to, anybody who was in the administration, this was going to be the greatest deal in the history of deal. Nobody could make a better deal. A lot of people would try to make a deal, but those deals weren't bigly. This was the bigliest deal in the history of bigliness. And guess what? It was bullshit. There was no deal. There are still 0 deals on the tariffs. Now, how do we pretend that everything is fine? We're working on a deal with China. And really all they're doing is they're just throwing it at you to try to move the markets. And by the way, I would do the same thing. This is not an indictment of the Trump administration or anything like that. But we should be honest and know that there are no deals. There are no trade deals at this point. And, to be fair, we'll need to have some trade deals along the way. However, buy American. Problem solved. Continue to buy American. Here's the thing. ultimately, the best thing for the United States is for manufacturing to move back into the United States, manufacturing that makes sense, that falls within our realm of financial ability. We don't want to pay $1 for a thumbtack. We don't want to pay $1 for a staple. You know, we don't want to pay large amounts for certain things. There's as a country that, you know, this, it's not going to make sense. Okay. Medicine, however, medicine should be made in the United States. We should not have to import anything from another country. And if you remember those N95 masks from 2020, all of those things from the COVID regime, those were coming from China because we don't manufacture that. That should have been, Joe Biden had 4 years to fix that. And in fact, to be fair, most N95 masks by the end were being manufactured in the United States, but only the N95 masks. What about everything else? We should not be getting medicine from other nations. We shouldn't be getting things from other nations that we can readily make here. There was too much moving over and having people sell us stuff at cheap prices and stuff like that to avoid labor costs, and no penalty for the companies that were doing it, by the way. Remember, there's no penalty for any company. And this was not a Donald Trump thing, by the way. This is a Democrat thing. This was early Republicanism. This was, you know, the NAFTA. NAFTA moved these jobs away over a long time frame, but it leaves us, here we are. Okay. So it's going to be a fix. And hopefully we're on the right path and the right track. Now, in the meantime, there's going to be tariffs. There's going to be tariffs. There's going to be pain. There's going to be a problem. All right. And that's, there's no avoiding it at this point. But I think, look, if there's any hands that I want it in, it's going to be the Trump administration. Not because I think that they are better than any other administration. I don't think, I've told you before, you know my opinion of Donald Trump. I don't think that he's the guy. Right. However, who else is doing something like this? Who else is looking out, even in a weird sort of situation? Is he looking at America first? All of us, yes. Is there some pain that goes along with it? Absolutely. But what's the other alternative? If you want to fix the United States government, you know what? Let me get in here. Matter of fact, let me get in your face. If you want to fix the American government, the way that you fix it, austerity. And we don't want to do that because prices will go through the roof. When we stop paying bills, when we start becoming that society, then guess what? The rails come off. We are going to be screwed. So austerity can't happen right now. We're not able to accomplish something like that. So what we need right now is some wise people doing as best they can to fix as much as they can for as long as they can until basically, quote unquote, nature heals itself. That's really what it comes down to. And I know that that's not, look, I know that everybody wants to have some kind of crazy, wild answer. It just doesn't exist in this current environment. There is no simple, no easy economic fix. The best thing that I can tell you right now is the part of the market that you're seeing right now as a surge. Is it the full-on bull run? No, it is not. This is not the banana zone. It could be. By the time we're done with it, it could be the banana zone or a banana zone. It really could be a really big breakout. But most likely, here's what's happening right now. What's most likely is that we are pricing in the next rate cut with the FOMC. That's coming about a month from now in June, and it's basically being priced in at this point. So that's what I think is happening right now. Now, ultimately, here's the other part. If you go back and you look at quantitative easing and quantitative tightening, if you go look at all of those different factors with the Fed, Bitcoin is still at $100,000 despite all of these problems. So when I talk about the Fed, when I talk about the FOMC, when I talk about these kind of things, remember, they are important for investors, but not necessarily crypto. All right. What we're seeing right now is we're seeing the markets move beyond what they should be moving in crypto because of all of these troubles that we're going through. So these are temporary pieces that just don't fit into the puzzle right now. but rest assured, they will very soon start to fit right in to where we're going. Okay, so I do believe that we're going to get another pump, and we are in the middle of a big pump. The parabolic sending moment is what we're looking for. I don't have enough data right now to tell you that that's going to happen, but I do have enough data to tell you that the tariffs were not done yet. There's no deal signed yet. By the way, Mark Carney was in the White House a couple days ago. You had the UK premier that was in the White House. You had all these different people that are in the White House. So even though I tell you 0 deals are here, they are coming. There will be some deals, and there should be, and hopefully we're going to stick to this. There's a 10% baseline tariff. That's going to stay. I hope that that's permanent. I hope Congress actually turns that into a law, because as an executive order, that's not sustainable. The next president is just going to come in and say, oh, we're going to get rid of that. So for right now, the tariff war can only go up from here. We've already priced in the bottom. Also, Bitcoin has now passed Amazon as one of the top 5 global assets. With a market cap of 2.039 trillion, Amazon was right there and higher than Google. So it now sits behind Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft. Gold remains the undisputed leader with a 22.4 trillion market cap. And guess what? Here's the other funny thing to this. Over the next several months, I do think that you're going to see, and by the way, gold is going to dump. Gold right now is a massive bubble, and it will pop. And when it pops, that money that's being sold at the top, guess where it's going to go? It's probably going to go into digital gold. And you're going to see a lot more money just kind of pouring its way into Bitcoin over the next year and a half, something like that. So big things happening right now, big news everywhere. And finally, XRP, Judge Torres, it's in your hands. For those of you that don't remember, Judge Annalisa Torres several years ago ruled that, and she was been overseeing the XRP versus the SEC lawsuit for this period of time. Now, she agreed to a $125 million settlement. Here is what the SEC did, though. They've negotiated a $50 million settlement and $75 million being returned back to Ripple. This is gigantic. Also, they're going to drop all charges. This is gigantic. However, you need Judge Torres to approve this settlement. So there is still uncertainty. However, Bill Morgan, the XRP lawyer, says that there is no certainty that Judge Torres will grant the relief the parties are seeking. She must form a view that is in the public interest. And he's in further elaborating this point, Morgan stated that the overwhelming support from XRP holders could influence Judge Torres' decision in favor of the settlement terms, referring to pro-XRP lawyer John Deaton and the 80,000 followers in the Ripple lawsuit. He commented that the judge is likely to consider dissolving the injunction and reducing the fine to $50 million. So, with that being the case, one way or another, we are probably done. Now, here's the piece that really doesn't fit into the puzzle yet. It's the question of $125 million settlement, which is what that was her penalty, or $50 million as a negotiated settlement. She has no reason except, again, for the public interest to say no. Okay. And that would be, there's no disgorgement. And by the way, if you're wondering, because that is a very real thing. Well, let's look at disgorgement. We're talking about XRP, and we're talking about the price of XRP. Who is disgorged from this price action? There is no disgorgement. So at best, there's probably 10 investors, or in the world, probably less than 1,000 people bought that rip right there at the top. Okay. Less than 1,000 people bought that top over there. So now where are we? We actually, you kind of zoom out and you look at it and you're like, you know what? We actually, the high is 340. We actually eclipsed it already. There's no disgorgement. She has no standing right now to do anything other than say, you know what? You're actually right. This is done. So that penalty, is or should be the end of it. Also, market's up $43 billion again today. So we're going to now break down the rest of what's going on in the market. And we're going to start with, this is Memecoins. Pepe up 34%, Fartcoin up 21%. I mean, look around. I'll give you guys a second. And by the way, we got Brett, we've got Bonk, we've got all kinds of different shit out here that's just absolutely taking off. We even had the Pith network, Python going up 43% on the day. These are the breakouts we've been looking for. These are the breakouts we wanted to see. And this is just a short 24-hour period for these types of breakouts. This is just the start. Let's be very, very clear. Ethereum up 20%, up 20% on a day. Who thought you would see Ethereum doing that? Well, you know, we hope for it. We wanted to see it. I told you guys, if it didn't dump on Pectra, if it didn't do it, then it was probably going to surge. We had this conversation yesterday, and guess what? We were as right as it gets. Not only were we as right as it gets, we were so right that we missed money-making opportunities because I wanted to make sure that I got that money. I got that money. I had a goal. I don't think that Ethereum was showing strength, so we set it for a low bar, and guess what? We smashed through that low bar. In fact, we did get a full take profit on that, and this is where we are. This is where we are right now. Bitcoin, we're up 47% right now. Ondo, we're up 100% right now. XRP, we're up 60% right now. And Solana, we're up 91% right now. So we've had some pretty big moves. Hopefully, we're going to get them to full take profits, and that I'm going to let these cook for a little while. The reality, though, is I should be probably taking the profit, or I should be setting a reversal move. As a matter of fact, we should probably set a stop loss on Ondo right now. Let's do a stop loss on Ondo at 0.96. That's going to be about yeah. So if we come down to 96 cents, we're just going to take that profit right there on Ondo, just in case it breaks down. So we want to lock in our profits now that we're up pretty good. We're going to do the same thing over here with Solana. We want to lock in a profit on Solana. Again, I think that we're going to go. I think we're going to have a nice little run, but let's go to 160. Yeah, we're going to go to 160 right here, and we're going to set a full stop loss right there at $160. Since we're up really good right now, we'll take our profit instead of cashing out. This is just in case something happens. Now, I'm going to leave the XRP for right now because I think that XRP is primed for a big move because of what's going on with the SEC. Once we get some closure to that, once we get some clarity on that, that thing might rip way higher. And I believe I said to take profit for somewhere like, I don't know, 420, some ridiculous number is what I think I said. No, $3. Never mind, $3. All right, so we're going to do $3, and I'll take that one up to $3. So that's what we're doing right now. Now we're up to 448 out of our original $100. So we're in a pretty good spot. We'll see how this goes. Now, the other thing is, man, did not work out very, very well at all. We went from, we were having millions of dollars every day to only $49,000 today. And in fact, for the last couple of days, 140,000, 99,000. We had 4.5 million in trade volume just a couple of days ago. A lot of that turns out to me, I was looking through this, and it seems like if you look at my referrals over here and you look at, you know, how this was going on the referral list. Wait a minute, look at the dashboard. Think I can do that. Recent data. Yeah, sign up. So if we look at the last 30 days in signups, 396 signups, 332 deposits. So, you know, we were on this run, and it corresponded with when we started this show, and we pivoted over to doing more trading and less just talking about news. So as that happened, was really good. But then I was told by the team over there, hey, we're going to change the way that your bonus works. Not my bonus personally, but they were giving, there was a different reward structure that was set up. This is the new reward structure, and it's based on bonus futures coupons, and you only get real cash payouts. Once you've traded $5 million, you'll get $2,000 for free if you have $5 million in trade volume. By the way, that doesn't mean that you have to make $5 million. It means you have $5 million in trade volume, and then you get up to 30,000 USDT reward. So they're giving away cash. The point, though, is that they're still giving you a bunch of money for trading, but you have to use it for trading, and it's not just a free money giveaway. And that was a bridge too far. So now we've only had we've only had about 11 signups over the last couple of days. And also, full disclosure, I had somebody reach out to me, and this is when I knew there was going to be some kind of issue or concern or problem. And I got this guy named Wen Meow reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you not honor your agreements or what? Whatever." Just trying to shit on me all of a sudden. And it said, "My community asked how long the program has left to register with your referral link." And I said, "That's weird. That must be what's going on," right? Then I realized that's happening. And then they said, "If I join your community now, will I receive a voucher? Is there a limit on the number?" Stuff like that. I gave them the information. And then I reached out to the team and I said, give me a list. Give me a list of the people that are supposed to get rewarded that did not get rewarded. Then he sent me a bunch of UIDs. And then I realized these guys are just going from promotion to promotion to promotion and, trading, which helps me, helps them too. But ultimately, as I went through it, then I figured out, what's happening is they're doing something weird. Okay, that was it. They were doing something weird. So back to promos again, guys. Also, just so you know, I did change my promos a little bit. So if you know any projects that are looking for it, I'm doing shorts now for actual promos, and then we're going to do daily live streams and stuff like that and continue to do what we're doing, but we're going to have more directed content. And I think that shorts right now are supported more than standard long form content. So I think that that's going to be the next pivot for me for doing those. And I like $250 to do like a 1 minute short. And I got some ideas and I want to get some partners out there doing it. Also need channel sponsors, KCEX, Weeks, Trobits. They're not going to cover it, but if you want to, Trobits is your place to go. If you're looking to burn Luna Classic, if you're looking to burn SHIB, don't forget, this is a big, big deal. They burned 150,000 yesterday. They're burning 662,000 today. Trobits burns every single day based on ad revenue. You don't even have to log in over here, but these ads right here, that is what supports all of it. And all you have to do, come over, engage with the content, read the articles, just get involved a little bit. Doesn't take you much time every day. And Trobits.com could burn a ton of Luna Classic for you. So let's move on to 100 to 200. Peanut up 81% on the day. Mew, you can see obviously there is, and by the level of degens jerking themselves off on Twitter right now, you would think that they invented Memecoin season. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're having breakouts. Moo Dang up 162. Boom, Book of Memes up 38% on the day. Nero 37%. Other Nero probably up somewhere on the day. Melania even up 17%. Banana at 30. Goat at 46. Meme at 25. So, nice run right now. We're starting to see a good breakout by a bunch of different projects right here. Chill Guy, 40%. Flog, 62%. Big caps, right? Even at Devi up here at 12.5%. Nice little run for it today. No reason yet, by the way, this is being... this Devi, and by the way, I don't want you guys to think I'm being critical of Devi. I'm not being critical of Devi, but it's not pumping because of anything that Devi's doing. It's pumping because of Ethereum and because of the pairing. Okay. And by the way, it doesn't really matter, but it's important to point out when Devi actually does something of note for its community, then it's going to go absolutely crazy. Right now, it's just being drug along by Ethereum. Who would have thought that Ethereum would be the one dragging Devi at this point? Well, I guess we all did at some point. Anyway, good day so far. Fear and greed index is now at 73. So we're in pretty good shape ultimately. But when you're this high, that means correction time. So we'll see what happens over here. And by the way, if you've been following me and you got a big win, then guess what? You know, you guys talk a lot of shit, man. Woo-hoo. You guys getting these chats to talk a lot of shit here about Pepe 3. Guess what? Pepe 3 all-time high, broke out, absolutely exploded. You're welcome. Good morning. You're welcome. Okay. I am out of it now. I have $250 left in it. Okay. So I'm still sitting in it right now, but I got my money out. It is all the way up here. Now, by the way, this does mean most likely it runs to about 1 million market cap. So if you got in early, if you got your initial investment out, by the way, again, I got my entire win. I made $891 off of it. And I only put like 40 bucks. I mean, I only put a few bucks in. So, you know, there's another just gigantic win. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up is there's a new play. I'm pulling my capital for a new play. Okay. Now I'm going to save as, I'm going to download this video for you. And then I'm going to play the video so that you guys can see it. And you can be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that I've ever seen. And it's because Bleaves did it, that it's so awesome. And I would be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're pretty right. Yeah, that's pretty correct. I am pretty fucking sweet. Let me see here. And there. All right, there we go. And now, if you haven't seen this before, you're about to see it. You know what it is. I don't know if the going to support it. Can you hear the volume? Could you hear the volume on that? Could you hear, oh? If you can't, then we have to do something different over here. We'll have to present this video file. There we go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
All right. So the reason that I bring this up is they got this guy, whoever it is, to allow them to use this for Blocky. Blocky is going to be the next big run. Now, for those of you that don't know, Blocky is going to be launched by a friend of mine, Roger Tremino. Remember him from Devi. Remember him from Pepe Cubed. He's the one that made you all that money. Remember him from Lil Puff. He's the one that made you all that money. Remember him because on, I think it's Tuesday of next week, we're going to be launching a new project called Blocky. It's going to be this blockhead thing, and you just saw the video. That's just kind of an announcement of sorts. And then I've got one more thing for you right here, and that's going to be this right here. If you are interested and you want the details of it, in chat right now, that's the Telegram link. So if you are interested and you want to get in there and you want to get in early, and by the way, in order to get in early, you can do a 1-for-1 swap on your Pepe Cubed, whatever it is. It's opportunity. You know what I mean? So there you have Blocky. Not only Blocky do you have, which is not out yet, but will be, but you've got your profits from Pepe Cubed. You've got your profits from Puff. And by the way, Puff is down today, but not by a lot, because look at this. It just God candled itself a few minutes ago. And what does that mean? Well, I think what that means is, and I'm not sure what that, I'm not sure. Okay. But remember what I told you before, we got a legend in the house right now. What I told you before is I really think that Puff is probably headed to about 50 or 60 million market cap based on the way that it was running before. Now, does that mean that it will happen? No, it does not, because see, you got some of these, you got some of this, what you would call bitch assness. where they're selling as soon as another pump starts, as soon as you start getting a little bit of flow of capital coming back in, you got the babies selling off again. And it's just a cost of business at this point. There's too much profit there. There's too many look, if you're not grown up enough and you're not mature enough to handle holding a bag for a little bit of time, I mean, here you are. Now, the question is, will it get back up there and continue on? I think the answer to this is yeah. It's at $1 million in volume. If you can wear out some sellers, and there's really not, look, there's no huge seller that's kind of standing out in the, there's no, the people that are selling are going to be people down here, and they're making life-changing money. By the way, that life-changing money going into Pepe Cubed, that life-changing money going to go into DevE, that life-changing money going into a lot of these different little places. You know what I mean? Classy Crypto might pop his head in a little later. Will it fit? I'm just kidding. I like Classy. But I did talk about him today, as a matter of fact, because he used to have a validator on Luna Classic. So when you see today's Luna Classic video, I had a big conversation about that where I said, I don't even man, there you go. Make sure that you're leaving comments guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. How much did you make on Puff? Don't tell me the exact amount, but how many X's did you get? How many X's did you get on Pepe Cube? Let me know in the comment section, and let's keep that conversation going. So anyway, back to the chart. Bitcoin, 102,864. My sell order, my full sell order, which I didn't get to yet, is at 106,000. I don't know if we're going to continue a surge. I don't know if we're going to get there, but fingers crossed that we're going to get that. I want that to happen fast, by the way. If that happens fast and we get to that big number, that's going to be confirmation of that breakout. Guys, 73,000 Bitcoin 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, 73,000 Bitcoin. Today, 103,000 Bitcoin. So this was just a massive move overall. Not just a massive move, but where does it go next? When we get into the low sort of time frame here, then what do we expect on the short time frames would be the question right now. And the pivots, those pivots are really fast. They're coming on very, very quickly. So right now, we might come back down to 100,000 and break out from 100,000, or we might just be in a. We could just be look. Global liquidity is continuing to flow. All of the things are continuing to flow. We're not in a bearish phase right now. The only thing that's going to change this, and these are real concerns. Okay, India and Pakistan, they're firing bombs at each other. This could lead to an escalation and all-out war. That is a concern you should have. China could do something publicly not in anybody's better interest because they want to hurt America. There are things that could be done. But if not, then we are headed to all-time highs. We are headed to another big level. And Brento says, still predicting 25 XRP this run. I'm glad you exited because yes, I am. And in fact, it was nice to see that big surge to 242. But here's what happened. And here's why this is so important, guys. Remember yesterday we were having that conversation, and I said to you yesterday that, hey, what we want is we want the breakout. If we get the breakout, then what we're looking at is we want this move here, and then we want that move back down for confirmation, and then that's where you set your buy order, right? Remember, I already had an XRP long, but I told you guys this is what you should do. If you're looking to make a move, if you're interested, then set your buy order, and you can replay this if you need to, but set your buy order right there at that green line, which was $2.29, $2.30. And if you get a break back down, ta-da, if you get that confirmation, then it's going to break out even higher. And guess what happened? It broke out even higher. Most of the time, that's the way that's going to play out. Now, the question is, will it continue to play out this way? People are going to want to see the signed contract for the SEC and Ripple Labs. When they get that, then we're going to have another explosive move. Now, right now, to be clear, that's being priced in. That move is being priced in. The other piece to it is in order for XRP to go further, in order for Ethereum, Solana, in order for all of the rest of this to really start to surge and really start to take off, we need Bitcoin at 120,000, because we need all of that capital that goes into Bitcoin to start to flood out as people take profit. And as they take that profit, they're going to move their money and do a rotation into real world assets, into DPIN, into different categories that are not meme coins. But in the meantime, we've got meme coins kind of popping off. And in fact, when you look at the volume, Solana, 3.3 billion, BSC, 2 billion, Ethereum, 1.7 billion. So what you're looking at is the three biggest meme coin locations. Well, you got base down there at 874 million. The four biggest meme coin locations are doing, guess what? Meme coin like business. So we'll see whether this continues, but it sure looks good right now. XRP 234. Again, I look, you missed that move right there. I don't, so if we were to look at what could happen for the next move, we're already here. So I would say right now at 234, go long on XRP. And by the way, this makes me nervous because of the way the capital is flowing right now and how easily it is. We could be getting trapped into this, but this is the spot where you would make a buy. Low futures leverage with a surge up here to 240 coming, I think, very, very soon. And then a breakout to $3 coming right after that. So XRP is ready for a buy right now in that spot right there. We're going to circle that. We're going to leave that on the chart. We'll see how this plays out. Matter of fact, let's do this. We'll do a horizontal ray right here, and then we'll call this our 234 is fine. No, 230 buy zone. All right, so we're going to set that up. We're going to call it the buy zone, and then we're going to see whether what the fuck just happened. Yeah, 234. Sorry about that. All right, so buy zone. If we get an opportunity right now, let's see which direction it goes. By the way, Dow Jones down 132, opening up in the red. Crypto was up $80 billion a few short hours ago, but the USA market came online, and what did they do? It's like it's like liquidity is made out of dick the way the US investors sucked it out. You know what I'm talking about? You get it. You don't like it. Sometimes you don't like it. I mean, you might like it. I don't know. I'm not here to judge whether you like it or you don't like it or you sprinkle it on your face or whatever it is that you do with it. But it sure looks like the U.S. market is about to backstab everybody who believed that we were about to pump. So will it continue? I don't know. Again, when you have a surge like this, there's got to be some profit taking along the way. So hopefully we'll continue to get a move, and hopefully we're in that banana zone. That capital seems to be flowing back in. I think that surge to 4 trillion is coming, but we'll have to watch it and see how it plays out. Also, isn't it ironic, don't you think? Yesterday, Ethereum did exactly what we said. What did it do? Came up here, came here and back tested after a breakout. That's our confirmation. That was our 2020 from yesterday, and then boom, broke out above that. So, but we got our profit at 2,000. So we took this one right here. We'll get rid of that because we won, and we're going to take our victory lap. Now, the question is, where would Ethereum go at this point? So if it's going to correct, I would expect 2250. So set a buy order at 2250. That is your buy zone. All right. So if you get a test down here at 2250, go ahead and enter along. I would think that we're still bullish and that's going to happen. All right. Solana's already broken down below where it could have bounced off of. So, that run up there kind of started some nosebleeds. So in that regard, that would mean that the next area is going to be right here at 165. So that's going to be your buy zone. Buy 6 zone. Shut the fuck up. All right, so we'll make a buy right there. Oops. All right, so that's going to be our buy zone. That should be where we get a nice little bounce. Ondo. Ondo is already at the spot. Again, you know, if the market allows it, this is the bounce area. This is the bounce zone. So Ondo, if you want to set a buy, then that's right there. So your buy zone was at $1. So if you have an opportunity, get in at $1 right now. I think that's going to be a pretty good opportunity. Remember, we got in here. We're still in. We've got, I don't know, what was our position? 70 something dollars, 70 cents. Maybe it was 85. Was it 85? We're somewhere in this chop right here in this range. So we're up pretty good right now and expecting it to continue. If it continues like it did in the last run up, which we're not even close, right? We're not even close. This is 2025. This is that last run up, right? So we are so far away from where all of this breakout level shit is, right? So we're not even there yet. We need money into Bitcoin. We need money into Ethereum. We need money into Solana. We need money into XRP. And then this entire market is going to go absolutely bonkers. Now, SWI is correcting pretty big considering the rest of the market has been moving. The capital outflow coming right now is coming from SWI, down 3% on the day. By the way, when we say that, we never got into our $3 zone. We never got our opportunity to enter. We got down as low as 312, so we didn't get a buy on SWI. So we're not going to be pumping. You know, that's not going to give us the big the big pump that we wanted. You know, but guess what? We're in that last phase of that Elliott wave, I think. And, you know, how high does it go? You know what? You never really know how high it's going to end up going, but should go 20% higher than part 3. So, you know, we could see a surge up into the $6 sort of level with SWI. SWI is, and by the way, for those of you that are wondering, SWI is an incredibly important project because do you remember Facebook a few years ago? They had something called Libre, and that was going to be Facebook's foray into crypto. Well, Facebook today, through Meta, have announced that they plan to issue a stable coin. So there will be a Facebook stable coin, which means that you're going to be buying and selling on Facebook very, very soon using a stable coin. All right. This is very big. Okay. Now, where were the developers? The developers were from Libre project, right? Now, the developers on the Libre project, when Facebook decided they weren't going to do that, where did they go? Well, they went and created SWI. So the blockchain that will probably run Facebook is most likely going to be SWI. That doesn't mean that that's the case, but it does mean that they are adjacent and that they will get a seat at a table to have a discussion with Mark Zuckerberg and his board of directors, whoever the chief technical officer is over there. If they're going to do some integration, SWI might be that one integrating the new Facebook stablecoin. And then, of course, enhancing their market. And it's a paradigm shift, guys. This is a paradigm shift in the way business is going to be done. And SWI, they might be at the head of it. So I would suspect that you're probably going to see, by the way, we should not discount Facebook is one of the most valuable properties in the world. Okay. That's what we should recognize. It is one of the most valuable properties in the world. And with that being the case, what does that do to the value of SWI, which is currently like number 10 or 11? It's number 11 right now at a 13 billion market cap. Like, it seems kind of crazy to think that it's not at 50 or 60 billion, right? Which is about a 3 or 4x from where we are. That seems like, if it's Facebook, if that's what if that's what it is, with the revenue that drives Facebook, this has got to be a $50 billion project at least. So we're talking about a 4x from where we are right now. So it might be a good opportunity, might be a really good opportunity to get yourself a little bag of SWI just in case. Now, I would be looking at an opportunity for a buy zone. I don't have that for you right now. At best, I would say, look, I'm still going to be as strategic as I can and think that it's going to come back down. I just didn't make this rip. I just didn't get that. If we had gotten that one at $3, though, look at how crazy. Here's what I'm going to say. For right now, SWI is a darling, and I don't know that it won't stay the darling. Okay. I do think that it is. So when I say that, what I mean to tell you is anytime you can catch a dip on SWI, buy yourself some SWI. Don't buy at the top of the candle. Even if you know the candle is going up here to $5 or $6, even if you know that that's the case, okay, that is still a bad buy. So you're not going to get the return that you're looking for on that. You're going to get trapped by somebody. If you didn't buy down here at $1.76, wait for a correction. There will be a correction. And if you miss a massive run, it's okay. You'll find another massive run. Not every crypto is for you. Not every one of them is going to be good for you to get your pump off of. Also, OM now showing weakness down another couple of percentage points after it attempted a breakout. Did attempt to have a nice little run. And, you know, we had it going. It looked like maybe you might get a tiny bit of recovery over the last couple of days. And that maybe we were looking at that reversal starting to play out, and we could be looking at it. But right now, it still looks like that. This move right here, we saw this move right here before we minted another low, and that could be what's happening right here. We could be going even lower and not going up. Now, ultimately, what I told you guys is we need that falling knife for OM. So, and back to XRP, by the way, nothing has changed about XRP in my view. I still think that let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. I still think that the next big move for XRP is $25. Like, we're going to see my target zone starts at $8. Target zone starts at $8 and it ends right there at $25.27. So, and by the way, you have to look at it from this context. What is the value of Bitcoin versus the value of XRP? If in fact XRP is doing all of the cool shit that we're supposed to really like. All right. So if we just consider that, you're at 235 right now. Bitcoin as an asset class is at 2 trillion. It's now the number 5 overall. Well, what's the value of XRP if XRP becomes the place where the world settles their debt? If that's the case, 137 billion, it should be 1.5 trillion. If it's 1.5 trillion, that's $27 a coin. So, yeah, I do think that XRP is going to flippening Ethereum. All right. I think that Ethereum's strength is no longer shining right now. It's still down significantly, but ultimately XRP probably from a financial windfall sort of perspective, that's the one with the biggest upside and the biggest gain. So I'm going to stick with $25 for XRP on this next run. Devi 7236 finally breaking out, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Until Devi makes their big announcement, whatever their big announcement's going to be, I think it's NASDAQ. But until they do that, it doesn't matter. There's no more, unless you make some kind of significant announcement, then you're just moving along with the broader market and you will pump and dump as needed throughout that market. Now, RSI fairly low, kind of in the mid range right now. So it's got a significant opportunity for a pump. And you can see that it looks like a pump has started. However, there is still this resistance right there, that little blue line that I'm moving around right here. You know, that resistance right there, unless it breaks above that, we're not doing anything. And that's 90 cents. So we need Devi to pump above 90 cents to get any kind of confirmation of positivity out of it. Otherwise, again, I suspect that it goes down to 50 cents, which is going to be breaking down below this range. Now, that doesn't, again, it's not a bad thing. This is just a timing of an announcement sort of thing. Okay. So if it does not, and we still get just some good movement, we get a little FOMO build and stuff like that, then the resistance area is going to be up here. So $1.50, $1.60 would be that full on move. If it in fact breaks out into that range, you're talking about $1.50, $1.60. Remember, I told you about $1.35 is where I think that the biggest level of fighting and resistance is going to end up being. And that's, but we need that move right there. That would attract a lot of people. That people would start paying attention. They'd pay a lot of attention if that were to happen. But again, we need to see that breakout. Otherwise, we're just moving along with Ethereum. So this is the chart. And you could see that right here. If we move this down, we're going to move that down to a 1 hour. All right, we're going to zoom in a little bit. Let me bump. All right, so this is what it looks like compared to, I guess, USD. When you look at it with wrapped ETH, see how it's coming down? So what's happening right now is DevE is not holding up well against Ethereum. Ethereum to Dev value is declining against USD. It's rising. Now, why is that? Well, because Ethereum is running right now. So if Ethereum continues to run, then DevE benefits from it, but it's not anything that DevE or the team is doing right now. What they're doing is working silently in the background for that moment when they can make just a massive game-changing sort of announcement. That's what's going on in that ecosystem. Fiat as well, up 12.5%. But look, until Fiat breaks 12 cents, same thing. If we take, that's kind of aggressive right there. If we took this right here and said that was kind of a blow off top, and we kind of look at it from this, context here, then, you make the argument that we're above this sort of range. It feels comfortable for me to say that I think we're above that range, but there's still going to be a lot of resistance in breaking out. We've got 5 cents right there. 5 cents is going to be a big spot, like right in that range right there, where, if we move, and we could move, but if we move, then that's going to be a real pain in the ass sort of spot. But again, none of this happens unless DevE makes some kind of move. There's nothing that Fiat has got going on that's going to move the chart in any significant or appreciable way without DevE. And DevE, same. Fiat will just come along for the ride. Now, moving on, Luna Classic is now breaking out. There's some resistance that we have to deal with at 407. But once that breakout happens, then, it's going to be on into the 8s. It'll just start to take off. But it really looks like it's ready for that breakout move. We'll see whether or not it does. USTC, the same thing. I think it breaks out up in that 2.5, maybe 3 cent range, and we get a nice little move there. API 3 breaking out as well. But again, unless it breaks out above that 150 that it got to before, unless it really starts to break out, then there's nothing to write home about. It needs to break. As you can see from this little trend right here, that's a little aggressive, I think. Move that down a little bit, and let's tighten that bar up right there. All right, so it's going to have to break above this range right here, and then again, bounce back here at $1.20 or so, and then start to break out from there. If it doesn't break out like that, then it's probably destined for $1 again. It's probably going to come down even more. So, and again, these are just things that are looking to find their way in these ecosystems. They're just trying to find where they fit in and to get these sponsorship and these partnerships and stuff like that. Any moment now, API 3 is going to be one of those darlings in the industry. In my opinion, it's a better version of Link. And Link is, as we know, a pretty big deal in crypto. Also, Move is up 6%. I don't know what the funding rate on it is. Let's go look real quick, because that's the only reason that we're just kind of sitting on this Move one anyway, and it's down to 0.045. So the funding rate is now in the negative, or still in the negative, but it's getting closer and closer to not being worth it. So our margin is 140 on this, where our realized profit here is 41, but we're still down ROI 80% on it. So, I think we're just going to be, I think we're just kind of screwed here. I don't know when there's going to be an opportunity for that, for that breakout. I just, I hope that we get a nice little reversal. I'm expecting to lose on this one at this point, because it's too close to my liquidation price, which is 12 cents. And it's really just kind of hovering around 18. I don't know that it's going to go down 50% more, but I don't see any reason to think that it's going to pump either. Like, it's just continuing to stair step its way down and reduce the overall value. Now, the fact that it's listed on so many exchanges, that it's on Binance, Kraken, stuff like that, it means that in the event that it found a bottom, it can start building from there. But if it has not found the bottom yet, then I don't know what it's going to do. I'm just fingers crossed that something's going to happen, but I don't know. Trump, in the meantime, is up to $14. Again, not even breaking out above the, hey, if you want to have dinner with me, then buy a bunch of Trump meme token. Like, other than that, like, it's not even up to that level of the pump yet. But ultimately, Trump is the 100 million. This is the 100 billion token. Doge, not doing it right now. Doge is not surging super hard, going super high. You know, there you start looking around, and 20 cents. I don't think so. SHIB up 4.5%. Pepe is the one that's actually having a nice little breakout. But when you look at it overall, and you start to, you know, again, it's Dogecoin's market. Then you have SHIB, and then as you come down, you find Pepe at 5.1, and then you've got Trump down here a little bit further down. Trump is going to be the one that surges the most. It should be at like 2.3 though, right? Or 2.5. Oh, there we go, number 38. So it's at 2.8. So Trump is going to be the one that surged. I still think that that's going to be the one. That's going to be the big dog on the block, but it's got a 2x from here just to catch Pepe. And Pepe, which by the way is, you know, just really having a nice move. And you know, as an indicator, Pepe is the meme coin. That is the meme coin until Trump actually takes it over. And by the way, the percentages that should show you that people are looking at Trump. They're just looking to find that position. They're looking for that value. SHIB up 4% on the day. Butthole is down. Crow finally had a little bit of a move, not much, but a little bit. Fetch continues to soar, having a nice little breakout. Again, like all of these, remember where they were back at the beginning, at the end of last year, beginning. So, you know, zoom out and look, I'm not talking about being up here. Maybe it doesn't make it here. Fetch was on a run here. Remember, this is when NVIDIA was popping really hard. This is when render was popping really hard. This is when AI was really kind of taking over. But that secondary run up right there at $2.18, man, that's what we need to see in this market right now. And that's what I'm expecting to see. And I would also expect to see a nice little surge here in just for Fetch. If you just look at it from this context and see that, man, it's like perfect, right? It's like playing out perfectly. I don't know why I did this shit right here, but we're going to get rid of some of that. That right there is playing out long term, right? So the next move here, probably $4 for Fetch by the time it's done. Cardano up 1% on the day. Let's get into memes here. Let's kind of break this down. All right. Pepe 3, the big gainer for the day, having a nice little run. LFGO is up 62% on the day, having a nice run. Pepe up 30% on the day. By the way, make sure you take your profits on every one of these. Don't get stuck holding the bag. Please don't be that guy. Please don't be that person, okay? Don't round trip this shit, okay? Take your money, because remember, even if you're wrong, all right, and you take your original investment out, you still got a bag. You still got skin in the game, but also you have your money back for when it dips. And what I tell you before, if you sell when it gets to 70, you're going to be pleased, right? So today it's 73. So anyway, Volt is up 26.81. Volt is up 17% on the day. Now, I didn't like the way that it broke out at first. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, you know what, that's kind of because it had a nice little surge right here, and that was very quick sort of surge, and it didn't get sustained, so I was a little bit nervous about it, but it looks like it's holding up very, very well. So this could be the start of a rally for Volt as well. So shout out to Team Volt. Trump up 14, we already talked about. Devi is at 72 cents right now, up 15.7%. Fiat is at 26.44, up 13%. Lil Puff, which was down a little while ago, boom, now back up. Guys, I'm telling you right now, not only, here's the thing, and I'm not saying that this is going to be the next Pepe. I'm not saying it's going to be anything like that. But there's VC money. And I think that VC money is what's running Puff right now. I think it's going to hit 50 million market cap. I think it's going to maybe, look, if it goes up that high, if they do what I think they're going to do, there's a chance that it could also go up to 100 million market cap. There's a chance it could go to 1 billion market cap. There's a big chance here that this thing goes absolutely nuts. It's got the narrative. Puff is actually a decent narrative. And even if you want it, even if later on you're like, it's, it no longer represents Little Puff in the same way or something like that, it should be Puff Puff Pass or Puff Puff Give or whatever. You can change this And Puff kind of resonates over the long term. But my point to it is the team that's behind it, they have, and by the way, they have about 20% of the supply. They're going to be people who are selling at some point. Okay. But the important part is that they seem to be a solid team that wants to pump this and prove something. They're doing everything right so far. Now, right now, what you have not seen is you haven't seen a massive amount of exchange listings, right? Let's go over here to Puff. All right, so we're looking at Puff. We want to see all results. It's going to be, is it going to be this one right here that came off? I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one right here. Okay, so Puff is not verified by CoinMarketCap. This is the one, right? So where are the exchanges? Oh shit. There's no exchange, right? Where are the exchanges? Oh shit, there's no exchange. What happens when there's an exchange or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10? What happens when that trade volume, when that when that volume of 379,000 over here, or what is it here, 1.1 million? What happens when exchanges are like, you know what, let's go, baby? Well, there's more traders, there's more investors, there's more people that are going to be involved. There were 658 holders yesterday. Remember that? We looked at it. Now today there's 1,197. Guys, it's getting crazy, okay? This thing has an opportunity to take off. I'm not saying that it will, but I'm also not saying that it won't. So be watching out for Lil Puff to start minting some new highs all over again. And again, explosive breakout at some point. There's going to be some big listings. They're doing it strategically. They're doing it when, opportunity presents itself, whatever. Yeah, good luck. CC Coin, 2973, 3 zeros. That means that it's had a nice little surge up 7% on the day, but still hasn't broken. It feels like, again, when I look at CC Coin, it's just something that feels like it's coiled up, ready to explode. When I do the pairing over here with Solana, it looks like it looks like it's moving now. Solana was dragging it down for a while, and it looks like Solana is no longer dragging it down. So now all of the good pieces, the wind is behind the sails. So now it's just a matter of blockchain beauties popping up at the right time, catching hold, catching fire. You buying CCC in order to buy blockchain beauties. All of the pieces are lined up. If there's successful execution by the team, if there's some FOMO, these young ladies who are blockchain beauties, if they are what we think they are, which is definitive sources of information and influence in the crypto space, if they are who we think they are, then guess what? The followers, the people behind them are going to be looking and saying, you know what, this might be a good opportunity for me. And as long as the team provides them with a long-term utility base and a long-term reason to continue being part of it, then guess what? That entire ecosystem will explode from there. And again, I've told you before, I'm going to tell you one more time. For me, I would call CC Coin at 10 million an incredible success. That's about a 50x from where we are right now. It's a 40x from where we are right now. I know that you guys might be looking for a much higher number. I know that we're talking on some of these other wins of billions and billions and billions of dollars. I'm not looking, I'm just looking to say that would be a success at 10 million. Okay. That's all I'm saying. If it goes to 20, 30, 40, 50 million, that would be amazing. But I wish nothing but success for CC. And if she had if she ran a token to 10 million market cap, she would be a legend in this space, okay? Because she created value, because she created opportunity, because she did everything for you. You know what I mean? And former teammate who has been dumping 30 million over the last month, he's just about out. So remember that bitch ass trick? That bitch ass trick? I hope that bitch ass trick is watching, you bitch ass trick. If that bitch ass trick is watching, though, you a bitch ass trick, you bitch ass trick. Anyway, I don't know why I like saying stupid shit like that, but I do. So yeah, when he's out or whenever, I mean, whatever. There's investors who are going to buy. There's investors who are going to sell. There's babies. There's brokies. There's, you know what I mean? Like there's plenty of hopefully there'll be plenty of money to go around. Also, no one will know. No one will know is not moving today. Again, this is part of the rotation. I would suspect that no one will know. We'll have another rotation coming around and have another big surge up to an all-time high one more time. Butthole coin, holding on to it, but I'm not, whatever. You know what I mean? SWP. SWP's got to be mooning since I'm out. It's not. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, the only thing wrong with it was that I still had a bag. I don't have a bag anymore. So must be me. Guys, I gave you this at 202. We ran it up to over 2 cents. I gave you an easy 10x. I hope you took your profit along the way. Then they decided, hey, yeah, we don't want to do business with you, believes, because, whatever. And at 1.6 cents, we decided, oh, yeah, we're going to move on. And now it's at 2.04862. So you tell me, did they make the right decision? Anyway, TARS AI is at 9 cents right now. TARS AI. Remember, Sona is out there. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos for TARS AI. I think next week. I'm not sure yet. We're still working on it. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. But again, I told you guys, I want to stop making this long form sort of content except for lives. And what I want to move over and migrate to is to do shorts for promotional stuff. And I'm charging less because it's only a 1 minute or 1.5 minute or something like that. And I want to do some AI stuff, by the way. That's part of the reason that I'm intrigued by it. I have this idea and I just need some tokens to pay me in order to create the idea because I'm not going to do it on my own. I'm not going to do it until I get them. And then hopefully it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to be able to pull in a bunch of different art and stuff like that. And I think I just got an idea that this thing might be really, really cool. So TARS AI probably going to be the first one unless somebody steps up in the meantime. $250 for a shorts promo. Speedy in your token, by the way, or cash. I don't give a shit. Speedy, not breaking out like I want it to, but I kind of like where it's sitting right now. It looks like we've hit the bottom. You know what I mean? Like once you've got that bottom out of the way and once you've kind of been there, then it should be up from there. And we got one big area of resistance here at 207. So about 200%. Coin on Crypto says, can Puff pop again? Bro, I don't know how much more up you want out of, motherfucker. Puff is right now sitting at its all-time high. Like how much more you bro. Anyway, if you scroll back, I was just what my idea here was 50 million market cap or more. So I'm going to hold on to this for a little while. I think there's at least another 8x out of it. I don't know for sure, but I think that there is. I think that there's some real opportunity for a blow off here. I think that there is some opportunity for an explosive move here. I think we're going to get some announcements from this team. We got a website, which we didn't have before. Then we got some other pieces we didn't have before, on and on and on. They're just continuing to drop nuggets along the way. But the next bunch of nuggets are going to be like big time exchange listings. We'll start to broaden this ecosystem. You'll see it show up on Weeks. You'll see it. It'll show up on KCEX. It'll show up in all these different places. By the way, I do have a new exchange partner that I'll be revealing on Monday, provided everything goes the way that I want it. By the way, my primary is still going to be Weeks up here. That's going to be the primary. KCEX, I sent them a thing requesting some kind of bonuses or rewards for you guys for signing up and stuff like that. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I we'll see what happens right there. Coin on says, nice. I grabbed some 3x and holding. Bought back in dip this morning. Thanks, man. Take your initial out. This is what we're all about right now. Take your initial out. Make sure you get your money back so that you can make the next play. The next play is still going to be blocky. Don't forget, if you scroll up in the notes right now, there is a link to a new Telegram that's lined up right now. And God damn it, where is it? Right there. That Telegram right there is for a new crypto getting ready to launch. So might want to get yourself a bag just in case. Okay, Jude, take it easy. Okay, you see that right there. I'm not Cuban. It's not my ZBCN, by the way. Yeah, we're up 2%. Look at that big candle right there. ZBCN still continuing to do its thing. I gave you the breakout. And by the way, I gave you the breakout and I told you probably what was going to happen, right? And it went nuts. It went from here to here, came back down into the 0.5, came to the 236, didn't correct back down, just continue to surge and then continue to surge and break out above. So what a good move that one ended up being. So that's it. That's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, Blocky will be launching very, very soon. It's not my coin. I'm not part of this, but Roger is, and Roger has made you and me pretty good amount of money. Roger brought us Puff. Roger brought us Devi. Roger brought us Pepe Cubed. He also brought us Pokies. And I went through and took my victory lap yesterday. So just so you guys understand, somebody was talking shit to me in one of those chats because they didn't like what I had to say, right? And then I said, yeah, Pokies is rug. And they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Pokies rugged. And look, you can't get them all right. We're out here looking. We're trying to find them. We're trying to figure them out. The Pokies team was a very young team. And in talking to them, they were not clueless, but they were greedy. And they just took, I think it was $50,000 and they just took it and ran, $50,000. That was all worth 50 grand. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. Can you eat for longer than 3 months? You know what I mean? Like that was silly. I think there was a lot more money, and I'm not telling them that they should have tried harder to steal more from you. But like, couldn't you have waited until it was $1 million like a man, you old bitch? Anyway, next time, get me in on it. So that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna have a nice little weekend here. Enjoy your profits this weekend. We're gonna be look, I think this market is ready to soar. It's ready for that next big level. We're now up 24 billion on the day. Bitcoin's back up over 103,000. XRP is surging. Ethereum continues to surge. Everything continues to have this nice upward trajectory. Hopefully it will continue to the point that we reach the banana zone and people are just going absolutely crazy. We're only going to have a short period of time, but based on that liquidity index, based on money flow, we got a long way to go. Hopefully the Trump administration will keep us on course. They'll keep us on track, and we will have that breakout moment that we've all been waiting so long for. That's it. That's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you.